Well, kia ora, good morning everybody. You ready to go? Great. Well, listen, it's awesome to be here with Nicola out at Griffin's factory, and it's been amazing to actually see how a mellow puff gets made. It's been the highlight of the week so far for me, and I just want to say it's a great example though also when you think about the huge amount of capital that sits in a factory like this, why our investment boost policy we announced at the budget is going to be so helpful to companies like this that actually are thinking about investing in more lines and more automation and more robotics, and actually that 20% deduction through investment boost could be the thing that makes those projects more cash flow positive. So with that, happy to take your questions.
Good morning, Minister. I have a question. Why there is no spending outside Auckland? Why the whole focus is just on Auckland itself and the primary industry is dying outside Auckland?
No,
what are the plans?
I disagree completely. Our economy is now growing. We see huge investments in the South Island. If you think about the investments we're making on the ferries, what was announced by Nicola and Simeon yesterday on Nelson Hospital, also Dunedin Hospital, and a number of very, very important roading projects throughout the South Island. So I think we've got the mix right. I think we want to see the whole country be successful, and we've made sure that the investment's flowing in the right places.
Thank you. Prime Minister, can I ask you about the police directive to pull back on shoplifting cases?
Yeah, look, it was good to see the Police Commissioner clarify his remarks to say that they want to go after all crime, and so they got that wrong. We're a party of law and order. We expect our police to tackle crime everywhere, and that's good to see him clarify that this morning.
So is it in line with the government's tough on crime policy?
Absolutely, and it's good to see the Police Commissioner quickly correct the memo that went out that was wrong and not appropriate. So we want our police helping New Zealanders, protecting and serving us, and hunting down crime in all sorts and all types.
Do you agree with Anthony Albanese calling Israel's blockade of Gaza unacceptable?
Yes, I do, and it's completely consistent with the statement that we signed last week with 23 foreign ministers. In fact, Anthony was using very much the same language that we've used and I used in the House last week as well. So, we expect Israel to provide unfettered humanitarian access. We expect them to protect civilians. Likewise, we expect Hamas to release hostages. And importantly, what we really want to see, all of us, is a ceasefire and getting around a table. More military action doesn't make things better in the Middle East.
Prime Minister, the ACT Party says that government savings in the budget have not been so high if they've not been in power or sharing power. What do you make of that? And do you think that their contribution has overall made a difference?
Well, I think every single minister around the cabinet table worked hard to find savings in this budget and show fiscal restraint, and I'm grateful to all of them, from New Zealand First, from ACT and from the National Party. Collectively, we recognise that to ensure that we don't have to tax New Zealanders more and indebt our nation more, we do need to get more value for the money that we spend on taxpayers' behalf, and that was reflected in the significant savings delivered in this year's budget.
But specifically, what contribution did the ACT Party make in terms of savings?
Well, David Seymour did lead a savings exercise which delivered on average around $115 million per annum, which is a small portion of the $5.3 billion per annum that we were able to deliver in savings. Every little bit counts.
Yeah, I've got a defence question. New defence budget or the capability plan, we're going to need more next year. Where are we going to find that from? It's quite tight, isn't it? Is that more savings going to have to be found for that?
Well, what we've demonstrated over 2 budgets now is that we always find savings in order to invest in the things that are important. And this year's budget, you saw around $4 billion of extra investment go into defence, which was a very important first step in rebuilding defence capability as per the plan that we've shared with New Zealanders. You can expect future funding in next year's budget, and the budget after that, and the budget after that. For so long as National is leading the government, we will be continuing to invest in the capability of the New Zealand Defence Force. Well, it will come out of both a combination of our operating and capital allowances, which are significant, as well as potentially savings from other parts of government.
David Seymour's becoming Deputy Prime Minister this week. Will there be any differences? Will the public notice anything different?
No, look, I think it'll be a pretty seamless transition. The Deputy Prime Minister's role is really just to act for when I'm out of the country or incapacitated, and David's done that well when Winston or I've been out of the country, and I think it'll be a very seamless roll through as we go through to the next half of the term.
What's your reaction to Madeline Waring's People's Select Committee? Do you expect to learn anything from it?
Well, What I'd say is, look, they're free to do what they wish to do. The bottom line is the government's made its decision. We're supporting pay equity, and we put money aside to deal with future pay equity claims. So for us, we're moving on.
Minister, have you received advice from Health New Zealand specifically on the costs of meeting their KiwiSaver employer contributions?
No, I haven't received that advice yet. Obviously, we kept budget decisions confidential. We will now be engaging with all major government employers to understand what they think the cost implications are.
Prime Minister, with St Peter's ruled out working with Chris Hipkins again, is there anyone you would want to rule out?
I would also rule out working with Chris Hipkins as well, because I think, frankly, Labor is economically illiterate, as we've seen over the last few weeks. And so, we're focused as a government, a coalition government, and certainly as a national party, of actually making sure we deliver for New Zealanders. We've been very clear from day one. We're here to grow the economy, to lower the cost of living, and to help Kiwis get ahead. We're here to restore law and order, and we're also here to improve public services, particularly in health and education. And if we keep our head down and keep working hard on that, New Zealanders will reward us for it.
Would you work with Peterson Seymour again?
I've enjoyed working with both of them. Yep.
There's an official cash rate update tomorrow. What does your budget do for first home buyers?
Yep.
Well, the most significant thing is that the increases in contribution rates to KiwiSaver will mean that people have a bigger deposit available to them when they go to withdraw from their KiwiSaver for a first home. I encourage young people to go onto the Sorted website and to see what it could mean for their home deposit, up to 9 or 10% bigger in many cases. The budget also ensures that interest rates are going to remain affordable. We know from the past that when we had a big spending, wasteful government, interest rates soared, which made it very hard for new home buyers to enter the market. We're seeing that interest rates will continue to drop and remain stable on our watch, which will make it easier for more people to enter the housing market.
Mr. Prime Minister, I have a question. What is your opinion regarding the comments of the development of Sikh temples, other local community temples around the country, on which there is a lot of heat going on? Or do you believe that those people are invading country's freedom by building up a lot of temples around the country?
Well, look, this is New Zealand, and people are free to celebrate their faith and worship as they wish, and that is the deal here in New Zealand. We're a multicultural society, a multi-faith society, and we want people to have freedom of speech and also freedom of religion practice. And I just say to everyone, and I say this a lot to the migrant community, the new New Zealanders that are with us, we don't need any importation of overseas domestic politics into New Zealand. And I think the vast majority, as I've said on my comments even recently travelling through India, is that our experience in New Zealand is that if you take, just say, for example, our Indian community, they work incredibly well together, irrespective of differences around faith, and we expect that to continue. So no, I'm very proud of our immigrant community, our new New Zealanders. They work incredibly hard, and they understand the deal in New Zealand, which is that we celebrate faiths of all sorts.
Last questions.
Minister, sorry, can I just follow up on my question? KiwiSaver, why did you not follow the Land Revenue Department's advice to get rid of the government contribution altogether?
Because on balance, our view was that having that contribution from the government is a nudge to some people to save who might not otherwise. It's just another reason to be in the scheme, and at that level it's affordable for the future.
So you're going to rule out, or you can rule out getting rid of the government contribution?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, team. Great. Have a good day. Take care.